Well, hello there, and welcome to episode 10 of Clear Skies Perseverance. I am your Game Master, Aliza Pearl, and with me are my fabulous crew. And before we begin, of course, there's announcements. And actually, I forgot that I was going to check something on Twitter before, just to see if there were, no, yes, oh, yeah. Well, I just want to give another shout out to our sponsor, Modifius. They have their awesome looking new game out called Dreams and Machines. And you can find out about more about that on the Modifius website. We have our referral links. Go through those links to go check out Dreams and Machines. And also, of course, as always, Star Trek Adventures content and books and things like that. So, yeah, that's the word from Modifius. And I have some updates from Star Trek Online. I'm taking Eric's place tonight as the STO correspondent. So the Voth event starts on console tomorrow, and you can earn a Voth mech suit to stomp around in and shoot missiles and stuff. Also, Unraveled, the latest story update in STO, has been live on PC for about a week. So go ahead and investigate a Tholian mystery alongside Captain Kumarke. So that's the word with STO this week. And are there any cast announcements? Bonnie?
Hello. I have to talk. It's in my contract. I don't have a contract. So hi everybody. If you haven't checked out my solo album already, please do. It's on Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, all of the things. Just search my name, you'll find it. For all of you on the East Coast, I am at Star Trek Long Island this weekend, May 20th and 21st. It's gonna be super, super fun. I'm doing like a reading for a bunch of kids. There's a new Star Trek Prodigy novel out, a kids book called Supernova out, and I'm doing a live reading of it for a bunch of kids as all the character voices. So that's gonna be a blast.
Oh my God.
I know, I'm excited. And also, June 16th is Captain Picard Day. If you're in Vegas, come to the Millennium Fandom Bar. I'll be doing a concert, a Trekkie concert for Captain Picard Day because everyone wants to celebrate Picard.
What about Janeway?
Oh, I celebrate Janeway every day with my coffee.
There's coffee in that nebula.
There's
there
coffee
is,
in that
trust
bar
me.
in Vegas. Amazing. Thank you,
I don't
Bonnie.
know if there is coffee in that bar in Vegas, but if there's not, they need
There
to change
better
that.
be.
You
That's
know
a
what?
mistake on their
I'm going to
part.
write them a message right now.
Yes. They need to have like a Rectagino drink or something.
Right? I mean, they accept all fandoms at this bar, but the owner is an extreme Trekkie and has a bunch of Star Trek The Experience stuff there and like set pieces, and it's pretty rad. Y'all should check it out if you're in Vegas.
Very cool. What's it called again? What's this bar again?
Millennium Fandom.
Millennium Fandom.
Instead of
Okay.
Millennium Falcon, it's Millennium Fandom.
Okay. Next time I'm in Vegas, I will have to check that out.
It's
June
a
16th.
great bar.
June 16th, y'all check out Bonnie's show.
Yay!
Yay. Any
The
other
end.
announcements? Kaitlin?
Hello. The sort of Blue Skies funny comedy mystery solving actual play that I do over on Q Times on Sunday nights, The Cases of Costa Vega. We have three episodes left. When we're pre-recording, I forget what how time goes by, but you should go back and rewatch the episode that just aired on this Sunday, in which one Sam Leve came in and played me and Drax's cousin.
Right Engelford.
Phenomenal. Everyone's name is a pun and it will never be acknowledged. It was very, very fun. It was so good. We just recorded the antepenultimate and the pentultimate episodes. They're so good. Y'all, it is, even if you don't have to have watched any of the show to be able to jump in and watch it. They're all self-contained mysteries. You should go check it out. We're playing a game that I designed, and it's just been so much fun. I can't believe we're like almost to the end of it. So go check that out. All of it's on Q Times YouTube, and we are live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific because I know time zones. Otherwise, check out Thin Places Radio, which is a tiny 10-minute or less kind of haunted paranormal advice kind of call-in radio show. We are brief pause on episodes currently for health reasons, but there's still like 20 episodes out that you can listen to, and I love it very much, so you should check it out.
Amazing. Amaze. And any other announcements? I have one. Welcome to the Blood Bar. I have a vampire interactive fiction graphic novel on the internet. You can read it. And I have 7 chapters out. I can see how many, I can't see who has read what chapter. I can't see who has read it at all, actually. I just have numbers. But I can see that a lot of people have started it and gotten like 3 or 4 chapters in and have trickled out. So if you don't like it, that's fine. But if you do like it, please, by all means, read through to chapter 7 because I'm going to drop new chapters very soon, like this week. I know I said that last week, but I really mean it this time. Like for reals, it's happening. So yeah, go check out Welcome to the Blood Bar. Pick up where you left off. Try different, restart the story and try different new options and things because it's a choose your own adventure in a way. There are options for you. And Caitlin's art is in there fully now. I'm gonna try to bring it back in a future chapter so we can like see it again. But I liked your tweet that was like, see if you can find all 4. It's kind of like a
can you find all 4 because there's
Where's
one
Waldo?
we've never talked about the other one, so see if people can pick it out, see if they can figure out what the 4th one is.
Yep, I would be intrigued to see if people can guess
too.
which one that is.
It does not look anything like anything I do, but if you can figure out which other one is mine based on the ones that you're aware of, that would be I would love that.
Please
Tweet
let
me
us
if you
know.
figure it out.
yeah, let us know. Tweet us. Let us know if you find it. And any other announcements? I see Sam.
I managed to fit bears and wheelchairs into the same science. Find out how tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on May Contain Science, or if you exist at a sensible chronotype, on youtube.com/@delevely, DELEVEELY. We have clips of everything. It goes up on Wednesdays if you are a coffee supporter of any flavor. It goes up on Fridays on the YouTubes, and it's up on the Twitch VODs as always for freezies. Just check it out because, how did that even science? You know you want to know. But now I get to do science that is kind of real science, but not real science, but it's kind of real science, but it's not real science, but it could be real science. The point is, Mike, it could be real science, and I'm excited.
All right. And with that, we shall kick off episode 10 of Utopia Planetia's Clear Skies Perseverance. Mike, let's build.
Imagine it.
Oh, goodness, the things that are said right before we go live.
Hey, did the captions catch that? Hey, did the captions got that?
Did they? Let us know.
No, it
chat.
did.
Oh, dang. That would have been great. Well, we all are heading back to Utopia Planitia from the Southern Winter Games in the southern region of Mars. You all, in your respective vehicles, so we have the land crew and the air crew in the shuttle, heading back to the shipyard. We're going to do a fun little thing borrowed from other gaming systems to kind of wrap up what happens at the Southern Winter Games. if y'all remember last week, I gave you a heads up that we were going to do this, and now so I'm not springing this on you. So go ahead and improvise if you haven't thought about this. So I want everyone to contribute one thing that's true about Juniel's game. So Rylem Juniel, the wind hockey game, or the rest of the Southern Winter Games for you all. So you can, choose which aspects of the games. But I want at least something about Juniel's game so that we know how that wrapped up.
I have to, off the top, I need someone to have broken a record. And I would love it to have be Juniel. I would love some sort of record to have been made.
I love it.
Eric's not here to vouch for his sibling. I gotta do it.
Yeah. So Juniel set a record. Is it most goals scored in a wind hockey game, maybe?
Something like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Or maybe most assists, or being involved in a what's it called? A move that's not correct. What's it called? A combo. I can only think of when you all work together. The number of being involved in things that ended in goals.
Assists for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So most assists in a wind hockey game. This goal was set by Rylem Juniel. Galactic record. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I just, Carmen Nieves got gold.
Great.
You gave me narrative control, and I give her a gold medal.
I love it. Yes,
Good.
absolutely.
My protege in crime.
I'm gonna pull a mighty duck here. Janelle's coach was not able to make it, and so to keep the team from forfeiting, Valuth stepped in with his extensive knowledge of the sport.
Yes.
Love it. I love it. Amazing.
Love it.
Bonnie and Danielle?
Yes. Ensign Qila made record profits. However, being the good-hearted Starfleet officer that she is, she did not keep the profits. It actually most of it went to the Lark Sage Orphanage.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And a donation of Dr. Rylem as well, in his name, and also a small percentage of that went to investing in her book club.
Great.
Oh,
And
my best friend.
Yes.
Veevee was at the games, and after she finished doing her thing, and she won a lot of prizes after she won her game. So she brought them to Ryland's game, and there were a bunch of XB, kids and people who have not been necessarily able to feel very comfortable with the games, but Rylem was their champion, so Veevee's just tossing out little toys and stuff to all the teenagers and other ex-Borgie babes who were cheering very hard, and Veevee's leading the cheers and
There was
not
a
leading
field
them
trip.
because that yes.
A field trip of some sort of board kid XB kid group who is all there for their matching
I
t-shirt
think so.
matching t-shirts.
Yeah, and
field
they're and so just having obviously that happen meant a lot to these kids, and so Veevee's obviously cheering with them, but letting them lead the cheer. She's not leading cheers, but she's also handing out little treats and stuff to the kids who feel brave enough to say something because maybe it's hard for them.
amazing.
Our babies.
I love it. What an eventful time you all had at the Southern Winter Games. And as you all pull into the cargo bay at the Utopia Planitia shipyards, this day is ending. However, I'm going to add a couple of things of my own. Number one, you all get back in the morning and you still have the day off. So I would like to declare that there is perhaps an impromptu meeting of the Utopia Planitia book club this afternoon. And a hangout after. And actually, I want to cut to the hangout after. That's my Game Master agenda for this evening. After you all get back, get settled in, probably rest for a couple of hours as well from this trip. you all decide to meet up and in the holodeck play through another adventure of your own choosing. But we cut ahead to the recreational lounge that's in the Habitat building of Utopia Planitia Shipyard. And that's where we pick up. We find this crew of travelers, of Utopia Planitia employees, both Starfleet and civilian, relaxing, perhaps with some beverages, some snacks, relaxing after both your trip and another successful book club session.
So Veevee is fully coming down from her prior hallucinogens and then doing more hallucinogens. Sorry, we just really like hallucinogens. I don't know what to tell y'all. But is like chilling and hanging out, and she's like, I'm really happy we got to show all of those XP kids a good time, because as someone who lived on a planet that was not on the planet that I'm from, I know that I'm privileged, but I really enjoyed getting to make that moment for people. And also, more than anything in the world, I'm happy that my best friend was there for me while I did it. It just puts her arm around Qila.
Great. Yes, I'm pleased that I was also there. Wait, you said me, right?
Yeah, Qila, and that we were hanging out, and that you got to be so sweet around people.
I'm always sweet around people. Look at me. I'm the sweetest.
You are the sweetest, and I really appreciate a little bit of tearing up. The games were so good for us, I think, and I really appreciate how good you've been with everyone, and I should sit down.
Well, rule of acquisition number 22, a wise man can hear profit in the wind, and windsurfing was my biggest profit, as she's looking at her tablet, making sure like everything's being distributed properly from her
The winnings, or
her adventures. Her
I'm so
wasn't
sorry.
really her winnings. She just kind of made
Facilitated.
winnings
Facilitated. Yeah.
possible for others.
I'm so sorry. I need someone.
In a
I need a
safe way.
supercut. I need a supercut of Bonnie's rules of acquisition. Need more
Look,
than anything in my life. I need a supercut of thinking.
I will pay anyone who edits that. I need to see it. 100%.
I'm pretty impressed with myself, to be fair.
It's impressive.
That's because
Good.
you're
You should-
impressive.
And you
Bonnie.
should be.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm so sorry. I just needed that to be known. It's so good. It's so good.
Thanks. But yeah, when I decided to play Ferengi, I made sure I had all of the rules at my beck and call and be able to link them into any situation.
You're a genius. Yeah.
Can we use that on Black Twitter? Nope, we'll talk later. That's a different conversation. Go.
Some of them I cannot use in a Twitch setting without getting in trouble, because some of those rules are
Ferengi.
Ferengi. Exactly.
Ferengi.
But yes, Qila was very pleased with the outcome of everything, and actually very impressed with Veevee, and has a new respect for Veevee and her physical prowess and athleticisms. Athleticisms.
Perfect. So Veevee has been like, people like know Veevee for being like, oh, I like Off-White, I like other things. I am someone who loves design and everything, but I feel like Veevee, because of her upbringing, like around, like, you know, being like the ambassador's daughter, but raised on Earth where like maybe a lot of people didn't understand her, and it forced her to become this thing so she would feel like popular and understood. Like Veevee feels Qila in like a real way, where it's like Keela's the only person who like tells Veevee the truth about how they feel about her.
Absolutely. Life is too short to be dealing in lies, to be fair.
Yeah, and so Veevee is very much like, I want to be around you all the time. I want you to always tell me the truth.
Let's not get overwhelmed by personal feelings of being around each other all the time, I feel like there is a time and a place for everything. Meaning, Qila loves Veevee, but is also like, all the time? Really? Is that?
Yeah,
in the back
and
of her mind?
Veevee, and part of like the Earth, the Kiwi, and because Danielle be like we like to get high, and so we're just like, I your head radiates gold, and your heart radiates sound,
Platinum.
and your mouth radiates light.
Platinum. Oh, keep going. I'll get it right eventually.
And so yes, every time Kila's like, hey, can we like sit down? You don't have to be on hallucinogens all the time. Vivi's like, you don't see the, oh yeah, I know, you're right. This is really inappropriate. There are children around.
I will say this, Veevee. When it comes to your competition this weekend, rule of acquisition number 21. Never place friendship above profit. However, in this case and scenario, your friendship was the profit, and I thank you for it.
Yeah, and then Veevee just melts into a puddle in the way that she actually thinks she's a puddle on the ground, and she's like, my legs, little feet, one day I'm in.
All right, maybe we should go back to sickbay.
No. And then that's when Vivi's like, no, I'm good, I'm fine. I was just having like it's a spiritual moment for us. So when we were having a moment, I tapped into it, but we're also able to metabolize it very quickly. So it's totally fun.
Couple of things about this lounge, by the way. While this conversation is happening, I want to just give a little bit more detail as to where you are. So imagine 10 forward, but a bigger, more open space. It takes up about a third of one floor of the Habitat building, which, as you know, is a very large building where it's a live-work building, basically. You all live, and many of you work in this building as well. But this lounge is somewhere where all types of Utopia Planitia denizens will be passing through. The civilian workers, the Starfleet workers, and their families as well. So this time of day, I'm going to say it's probably like 5 p.m. and people are getting off of their first shifts of the day. And so, yeah, it's a bit busy in the lounge right now. Actually, everyone, go ahead and roll a perception check. Just kidding.
I was about to say, what?
It basically is a perception check. It's going to be insight, and then you can use your core discipline, whatever applies to you.
Oh, crime and
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be, let's make it 2.
So basically you need a crit.
You're, not necessarily.
I just got 2
Yeah, roll
by
two-
not
two
really
dice.
having.
Oh, that's right. You roll 2. I'm a dum-dum.
Yes.
I'm
Hey,
a dum-dum.
I'll
Nah.
fight you.
Don't talk about our friend like that.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, so I see two successes, Ty and
More
Valoose.
cores.
Oh, all right, great. We have 3 people succeeding. Bank all those extra momentum. I think maybe
All of it,
just
all of
Kaz
it.
has one.
I got momentum.
Yeah,
Okay,
left over.
Qila has the 2 successes. Veevee, how you doing?
God awful. An 11 and a 20.
Okay, that's interesting. I will bank that threat.
We got one momentum from Tovaa.
All right, 1 momentum, 1 threat. I think that was a successful roll.
Balance in the
For
universe.
you.
For me. Hey, y'all got a momentum.
Well, if Veevee is high, it would make sense that she wouldn't see what's
That's
about to
true.
happen.
That is true. Veevee is still kind of coming off
On
of those
the floor in a puddle.
hallucinations,
Yeah.
Yes.
experiencing things and the extra sensory. Ooh, your ESP is probably also pinging a little bit more as well right now.
Yes. And then also, again, I just, my species really likes hallucinogens. It's a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that before I picked us, by the way.
I love when you do like the information dive on Star Trek
Yeah.
species, and you're like, oh snap, that's a thing. Okay.
I haven't even done big face yet, so.
I know. Oh my god. Okay, so Veevee, I'll say also that you especially are thinking about how in the Utopia Planitia book club on the holodeck, first of all, we haven't even talked about Entitina. That was something we discussed before where Ty and Veevee were going to incorporate Entitina into the holodeck. So that is in process, and you just came from that session and you're just kind of vibing on like, whoa, Entitina and the holodeck, what an amazing combination. And also I'm still on hallucinogens a little bit. So that's where your mind is right now.
Perfect.
The rest of you, though, as Veevee is just talking about Entitina and the holodeck and other things, you all pick up bits of conversation in the loungy area adjacent to you. Two Starfleet officers who, Veluth especially, you would recognize these people. I'm going to pull up their names in just a moment, but I'll tell you the drips and drabs of conversation you start to hear. Ty, with your successes, you were using science, yes? Insight science?
Yes.
So the parts of the conversation you heard were about an autopsy being performed here in Utopia Planitia. And talking about some you hear genetic engineering perhaps is mentioned as they're talking about this body. Veluth. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry I don't have the names pulled up, but I'll keep stalling.
No worries.
As I pull them up. Kaz. You hear that, let's see. Actually, I'm going to go to Qila next.
Yes, I used security.
Of course. Qila, your ears perk up because you notice they're saying that they found this body, but it wasn't a Starfleet officer. It wasn't a known employee or a visitor on the logs. This is a body of someone who, for all intents and purposes, should not have been at Utopia Planitia.
Wait, there's a dead body that's been found, and me, the head of part of security, has not heard about this.
As you're sitting here, you're overhearing this from the people sitting next to you in the lounge.
We did just get that. We have not been
My
on
little
shift.
ears are like
been on shift yet.
radars right now.
You haven't gotten any messages about this yet, officially. And Kaz, what you noticed from the conversation is where the bodies were found. And also
Bodies plural?
body. Just one body. No, just one body. You noticed that the body was found just outside of the shipyard in an area that is often used for just hiking. A lot of times Utopia Planitia employees will go off, and this is a place that they might take a rover drive over to, and it has some like nice hills and and paths and trails. So that's where this body was found. And discuss while I look up those names. Veluth, I haven't forgotten you. I'll get back to you in a moment.
Bodies, because each of us is learning about a separate body. Right?
That's right. I mean, yeah. It's one body.
There are 8 that were found, and everyone's talking about it. No. I do have to imagine that this book club was unbearably uncomfortable for anybody who was.
Why would you possibly say that? I would love if it were a variant on like Twelfth Night or another Shakespeare farce surrounding identity.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes,
that just feels good and right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially since Ty designs these.
I was just about to say the one thing that I know for sure is Veluth has been laying low and trying to avoid Tovaa and Ty with every inch of ability that he has.
She's avoiding you too, so don't worry about it.
Ty is, okay, my pup Dazzler wants to be petted so bad, but the closer you go to pet her, the more she backs up and she's wiggling. She wants the pets, but the closer you go, like, no close, only pet. In a profoundly different spirit, but with the same distance, Ty desperately wants to talk to Tovaa.
Is there a quick little recap for people who don't know about what's going on with?
Oh,
I mean, as far as like characters, I don't think anybody else knows, but there is definitely a like palpable discomfort between half of the crew.
Just for a quick rundown.
yeah.
She was my wife from another life, and I knew that, and she didn't, and then I told her.
There it is.
Yeah.
I knew that because you told me, but I wanted to make sure.
Yep.
And somehow I ended up in the middle of this like an idiot. So
Oh, I know exactly how. Allow me to explain. You knew Tovaa, and then when she joined, you treated it like a body snatching situation and like a symbiosis. It went poorly.
And so, yeah, Tovaa has now been informed for the first time that Veluth believes that Tovaa is dead and has been mourning her for the past several months.
And scene.
And scene. So, and we all get to just for while we're waiting to look stuff up, just for audience sake. We're all like, it's all good. Like the safety tools have been involved through all of this. We are bullying each other on purpose and with consent. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's very intense and we're good. Like it's okay.
Both robustly and with enthusiasm
Yes.
on all sides,
Exactly.
do we believe?
Yes. But yeah, so book club was tense.
Awkward.
Awkward. Tova's trying so hard to like be involved. Like is like very much a like not making eye contact and will not directly interact with either of them, but it kind of, you get the vibe of like her need for sound and to be around people vastly outweighs her like distress over everything that has happened. So she is here because if she isn't, she will feel worse. So
Listen, any meeting that Veluth could get away with sending Kamanuk to go handle instead of himself. That's what's happening.
Oh, we aren't even there yet because we're still on our day off.
yeah,
Don't
so they have-
worry.
yeah, no, you're here.
Meetings
So
will happen.
you have to be here on your own volition because you don't have any shifts today. Evolutions. Yeah, I think they're very much like a, at least
Help
from my
me.
end, desperate grab for normalcy that is failing.
Catastrophic.
Catastrophic.
Yes.
What was it?
Catastrophe.
Catastrophe? Yeah, there it is.
Yep. Catastrophe. That's us.
Catastrophe.
That's us. Oh, and I suppose the one bit we hadn't yet recapped, Commander Veluth, in a tremendous show of leadership, has informed Ty that both Ty and Kaz will be attending Vice Principal's hours. No, they were all going to have a meeting of some flavor.
HR, let's go.
Ty did not take warmly to the suggestion.
Yeah.
Somebody help me.
There's no salvation where you're going, Commander.
Pillow fort. Please.
I think Danielle got steamrolled over there for a second. Did you have was there a thought?
Oh,
No, I
okay.
was literally sorry. No, I was just literally having a thing where I was like, I guess we should probably like let people know like the drums before the drums happen, since we're entering the drum session.
Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen today?
No, I think
We
this is going
don't.
to be very calm.
very
And also
calm,
there's
okay.
a body, so surely there are other things to focus on.
So Veevee is having a good day, waking up from her hallucinogenicness, but still like a little high because that's what we do. And then walking in and, hey everybody, what did I miss? Whoa.
Yeah, how much of the ESP is like?
Everyone here seems really upset. And someone is. And so
Fighting for their
Veevee
life?
and so Veevee goes over to the person who was fighting for their life and is like, "Hey, hi. My name is Veevee." And Veevee just like takes her hand and does the and
Are you
That's what you-
attempting to mind meld with me?
yes.
Oh, I still owe you a thing.
Wah, 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 wah.
Okay, this is perfect.
Oh, hey, yeah, that's right. So
All
for
right.
the audience, there was a promise. I made a house rule that whenever a mind meld happens, both characters have to share memories from their backstory, but the mind melder has to share like more, right? I think I said three.
I owe
Okay.
you 3. I've only given you 1. So, when you do your one 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 at
Wah,
Velouz,
wah, 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 wah.
what you
Technical term.
Scientific and legal.
it's from the Bionono School of Science. What you see is a cold, damp, stormy night in Chicago. Um, on a city front, there's just a small art gallery. Um, that in on the sign on the door, it says today's featured artist, the Vulcan stylings of Veluth, and you see a completely uh, empty art gallery with paintings all along the wall, and you see Veluth sitting just on a small chair in the art gallery. Um, Somebody walks up to him and says, "We have to close in about 10." Veluth says, "Okay." And right as they're getting ready to shut down the art gallery, someone walks in, and it is a trill by the name of Tovaa, who just takes to looking at all of the art, and is, if I may say so, if I say anything wrong, please feel free to correct because this is your character. But they are very interested in the art, and they're just asking a lot of questions, clearly really interested in the art and also the artist. And
I feel like also worth mentioning, Tova's like 19 years old. This is she's a teenager. This is like 10 years ago.
and she's asking a lot of questions about the art and the artist. And you're able to pick up emotions too, right?
Yes. And in fact, empathy is like most of the stuff that I do. So the
Okay.
visions are great and they come through, but mostly I feel emotions through vision, like or visions through emotions. Like I'm almost walking through your art gallery as though it's an emotional art gallery.
So the main thing that you would feel at the beginning of this is acceptance that I am not an artist. I am incapable of doing art. It is only logical that no one came to see my work, so I should stop. And then when Tovaa comes in, you feel a deep sense of gratitude. And you feel the mask slip. And I think the biggest revelation that you might discover is that Veluth feels everything to the same capacity that a human does. He just plays it down. And so there's that excitement and gratitude when he talks to Tovaa about his art. And from there, you just feel a very tight friendship. And I'm going to say it fast forwards to a day where Veluth gets a message that Tovaa has been accepted for the joining. And then you would feel a crushing sadness, anger, and then that same acceptance that they felt when they decided that they could no longer do art. And you feel the moment that Veluth makes the decision that Tovaa is being killed for Cass. And that's where it stops.
I
You've been staring at me for some time, and I do not believe that you have the proper training or lineage to engage in a Vulcan mind meld.
Well, this isn't a Vulcan mind meld, my friend. This is, you know, this is. I have empathy. It's a.
I see. Well, I
I
can assure
I
you
won't.
there is nothing to feel here.
I just wanted to feel if you were okay as you. I
I
wanted
am.
to make sure that you were safe and you, like that's. I apologize. I feel like maybe I feel like I think I overstepped this one, and I went too far into your head without your permission, and I apologize. I would
Log-
love to see your art sometime if you wanted to show me. We could always use more art around when we're back at Utopia Planitia, when we're at the shipyard and we're making everything. I'm always looking for more art inspiration. So if that was ever something you wanted to, you, you don't have to. But if it was ever something you wanted to show me, I would love to see it. Because what I saw in your brain was so beautiful.
I appreciate the gesture. Before logically I could accept your apology, I would need to decipher exactly what information that you pilfered. The responsibilities that's provided to me by the Federation also gives me access to a number of classified information. I cannot forgive you if that is what you retrieved.
I, um, and, Vivi just permission to, touch your hand.
We are not at the station, and so I have no authority over you, unless it
I'm asking your
demonstrates.
permission for consent.
I understand. In which case, granted.
Would you mind if I shared with you the beautiful things I saw?
Beauty is beauty is subjective, and there is no definitive quantity for what is beautiful and not. I would
Do I have your permission, sir?
granted.
And Vivi squeezes that hand and just sends through all of the beautiful art and paintings and abstractions, because it wasn't just like, obviously it was things that was happening in Valoof's head, but it was also like things that Valoof had painted and things that Valoof just felt that had not been yet painted but were waiting to be painted. um, scapes, image scapes, and some of them were soundscapes, other artistic things, and it all just comes out in a flurry.
I see. This is from a period of my life that has long since passed. These are failures that helped me discover that my purpose was Starfleet.
Well, if they're
There is no failure condition. Ty is over making some tea, trying to give them a little bit of privacy for the moment, but at the description of artist failure, they can't help but come.
Lovely to see you, Ty. Well, I agree that art is in fact subjective. There are those that have spent their life mastering the craft of research, study, and evaluation. I have had my work analyzed by these experts, and it has been found lacking.
Are you interested in the list of similarly evaluated artists who found acclaim? either later in the course of their careers or posthumously. I would be happy to collate you an interstellar assortment. There's some very, very fine examples.
And Captain, if this art that I saw in your head doesn't mean anything, and you feel it doesn't mean anything, then it doesn't matter if I use it as my inspiration when I go about and help us find ways on the ships for other people to be comfortable. Am I
What a
right?
beautiful point, Veevee. Tea?
Tea.
Oh, while that would be feasible, unfortunately, many of the pieces that you may have seen in my mind have been since destroyed as they were no longer fit for purpose.
Well, I feel as though we have time for recreation. And so if you were able at some time to come and help me use those ideas and that inspiration to maybe even on just a little and Vivi's like, here's like a little like note card, design something here or put something up on the holodeck that I could use, then we could use those in our inspiration to design other ships. Am I correct, sir?
Potentially. Unfortunately, with salvaging the Bevel, working on the Ross, initiating the procedure of getting Instantina integrated into the holodeck, along with a myriad of other responsibilities, I simply will not have the time. I can see, however, about reaching out to Starfleet to commission a professional artist.
I'm a professional artist. I don't know if you know this, but I did not just study interior design. I came to Starfleet because I believe in the mission. I've studied engineering. I've studied other things. Everyone makes the assumption because I work on interior design that that's all I do. My designs have to be designs much like early in when Earth began flying and doing airplanes. They had to learn that you could not have the airplane windows be certain shapes or the air would rip them out and it would be damaging to airplanes. In the same way, I have to know the way that interior design works to be on these ships. And so I could transfer your designs because may I be so bold, sir?
I would not want to stop the trend.
I think that these are beautiful. And I think that they should be seen by more people. And I am not someone who says things that they do not mean.
I know this to be true about you, but I am also aware that the world is in dire need of individuals who can not only tell you the proper shape of a window airplane, but why it needs to be that shape. That
And
is
I
why
know
I'm
both
in the
of
ancient.
those. That is both of what I know. And that is what I studied. I know, again, I talk about off-white, and it is, you have to know which beds work in which quarters. You have to know which doors work for what purpose. It isn't just that I like white. I choose white often because so many of us are so differently shaped that white makes it so that we can see each other without seeing our differences in a weird way. There are reasons I choose the colors that I choose. And I think that I would like to choose the colors I saw in your head. I don't have to, but there is a design reason. And I think maybe I have been too strict about off-white. And I think that there are good reasons to have carpets that are different colors. And if someone wants a cabin, it makes them more comfortable with the colors that I saw in your head. They should be able to have that.
And you do seem so
Respectfully.
well qualified. as a professional, a researcher in these matters, credentialed, to make such a judgment. And I'll give you your tea, and I'll lay down some hibiscus for the commander right next to it.
Veevee, I appreciate very much what you are attempting to do. It is unfortunate that I have to inform you that the man that was able to create those things is a very different one that is standing in front of you. I am a Starfleet engineer and a Starfleet commander. I have no...
Commander, that is the problem. If I am so sorry for being rude. That's the problem. You think that I'm doing this as a friendship. I'm doing this because they're amazing designs, and I know that they will make people feel amazing. And I would have accepted those from anyone in any ship or in any shipyard in the entire galaxy. I was just lucky that it happened to be your head I saw them in.
I am not...
Oh.
I am not an artist, Veevee. I am a Starfleet commander and an engineer, and a very fine one at that.
Yes, you are.
If we are to put designs in a ship, it should be by the deft hand of a master, and not a rank amateur.
Well, when I put designs in the ship, they will be by the deft hand of a master. I promise you, Commander.
Thank you, Veevee. If it's all the same, I would very much like to get on with getting an early start on catching up on my responsibilities.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a flashback? Or are you still in the lounge?
I'm still in the lounge.
Can we
Okay.
pop it right before we heard the thing we
Thank you.
overheard?
Okay, that's what I
Does
was
that
wondering.
work temporally for everyone?
It does. So let's say this. Veluth, you stand up. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think that Tovaa was there for this. So I think she is after that has happened. She is sitting down with her
Perfect.
like sandwich. I think that's how I will implement
So
myself back to that.
Kaz sits down with the sandwich. Veluth, you stand up, about to excuse yourself for the night. That's when you all overhear bits of the
Perfect.
conversation. And so I told you all, those of you who succeeded, except for Veluth, what you heard. So just to recap, combining what the three of you heard that, and by the way, the reason why this was difficult too is because they're not speaking very loudly.
Yeah.
They're speaking under their breaths. They're trying to be a bit private in this conversation. But I think this awkward silence that happens after this moment leaves you all open to overhear
Trying
this
to focus on
conversation.
anything but the other
Yeah.
people at the table.
Yeah, it's poor timing for these two people having a private conversation because you all are looking for something else.
It's like trying to let one rip in class right when everything's quiet.
Exactly.
Like
Or
a
like when
silent
the
burp was
music,
like, and it's like, no, everyone heard that.
yeah, when the music gets turned down and you're yelling, like it's that kind of thing. So, you all overheard that there was a corpse found near a hiking area outside Utopia Planitia. That's what you noticed from the conversation, Kaz. The corpse showed signs of genetic modification. That was what Ty picked up on. And Qila, oh, we're missing a Qila. Well,
I
Yeah, her
believe
internet dropped
went
out.
down.
Oh,
or the computer,
yeah.
the computer is having
oh no.
is
Okay.
restarting
Yeah.
and struggling.
Oh,
now.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get her back. Well, what Qila overheard was that this is a person who was not in any logs, not an employee, not meant to be on Utopia Planitia or perhaps even on Mars. And those are the snippets the three of you heard. Veluth, you notice that everyone's attention has now gone to this conversation. No one looks over, but you're very close to these people and you notice where their attention has gone. So when you tune into the conversation, first of all, you do look over because you recognize their voices. As a commander, you know probably a lot more people than everyone else sitting here who work in their own departments. You recognize these as two people who have been important over the past several years at Utopia Planitia. Lieutenant Commander Wetu, a human engineer, and Lieutenant Elios, a Deltan.
Oh, what's the lieutenant commander's name again?
Lieutenant Commander Wetu, Whetu, and then Lieutenant Elios, Elyos.
Okay.
So you know these two. First of all, they're both in engineering. They've been working at Utopia Planitia for several years. And at one point, they actually had a kind of newsletter that they were writing to keep people kind of updated on what was going on in Utopia Planitia. They since have gotten promotions and they work on different projects, but they're still good friends. And they're sitting here talking about this news that they both got today.
Okay. I think this is just the saving grace that Vluth needed, because when he got up, it's almost like he's storming out. So that gives him enough time to take that breath and walk over to get to them. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Apologies for the eavesdropping.
Commander, I'm so sorry. Were we talking loud? I didn't realize.
Not very. But I was able to hear it nonetheless. There is a body. Is this what I am to understand?
Yes.
Has the body been identified?
We just got an initial report. You probably have that report too in your messages. You actually probably would find out more than we would. But as far as we know, no. It's the strangest thing.
Understood. Thank you very much for your time. And he just awkwardly walks off. I'm going back to the cabin to get to my pad to check messages and try and hide.
Okay. All right, Vluth, you head back to your quarters. What does everyone else do sitting here in the lounge?
Did you hear that?
The body?
Yes, there was an autopsy.
Oh, I heard that the engineering guys were talking about it being, they found it on the trails.
I guess, and Vivi's very much like, she's got a battery in her back now, and she's like, I've been climbing all day, and I was trying to I felt bad because I was trying to be a person and it didn't work. And so Vivi's like, okay, well, maybe if there's already a body here, were there any witnesses? I don't know. We don't know yet, do we?
If Qila is still here, or if we would like to, I don't know if we want to instantiate her in the scene still while Bonnie
Sure.
is back.
Yeah.
I mean, Qila could probably find out pretty quick.
On it! She already has her pad pulled up and is doing a search. I will roll for Bonnie.
Yeah. Roll to Bonnie.
I love you, Mom.
Okay. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Huh. Okay, that was almost a crit, but 2 successes on that. Bank of momentum. And Qila, after a few moments of tapping away at her pad, says, "I've got it." Yeah. Whoa. That is. Do you remember what a herald is, everyone? From the Iconian Wars? Because that's what they found in the desert.
Oh, I thought you were talking about improv exercises. That makes more sense and is also way more stressful.
Or a mod, yeah.
And Qila. So I will use Qila to help give you this information. You all would recognize the name Harold, not Harold. Harold. No, it's great. It's great. It made me giggle. Harold. So you all also would know that 4 years ago, in 2410, the Iconian War happened. It was several months long. It was so quick, so brutal. So many people died. And the Iconians were this very powerful, ancient race of aliens who, long story short, were out seeking revenge and wanted to take over the quadrant. They were wronged in the ancient past. They took a millennia to plot their revenge and to take over and become the masters of this quadrant. Several months into the war, they decided to make peace terms and cut their losses and leave. So you all have spent the better part of the past 4 years on Utopia Planitia cleaning up from that war, the Iconian War, and also slowly adjusting to the new timeline of ship productions in this post-war period. During the war, there was a ramping up. We've mentioned this at the very beginning of our campaign. There was a ramping up during war times of warships. And this war happened and ended so fast that it took a few years for everyone to kind of be like, okay, so we're not in war anymore? Are we sure? We sure we don't want more warships? And finally, the bureaucracy of Starship production and Utopia Planitia was like, okay, we can now make science ships again. We can calm down on the warships. So that's what the past 4 years have been like on Utopia Planitia. You all would have experienced this as employees here. Now back to the Heralds. Who are they? So the Iconians, most of their race was wiped out a long time ago. Like, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of years ago. 12 of them remained, and they're very long-lived. They live like a millennia. These 12 Iconians were the ones who came in to this quadrant and tried to wreck everybody and take over. But the 12 had been sowing discord and seeds of mistrust among different people. They basically caused a bunch of wars and things that we know now, which I won't spoil that lore, but things that we know in Star Trek lore were caused by these people. So they got people on their side by convincing them to join their cause in that way. Another way that they built their troops was to breed them genetically. And one of the first known species of bred troops by the Iaconians were called the Heralds. So that's what this corpse appears to be. It appears to be a herald, and it was found in the desert just outside of Utopia Planitia. So Qila, as you all get that lore dump and are remembering this, because your characters already knew this, Qila is looking through, it was a herald? Whoa, get this. It's only been dead for 6 months. That can't be right? No.
6 months?
That's what the autopsy report says, 6 months.
Why hasn't anyone found it then?
I don't know. It was buried, I guess. It was found under some dirt and rocks.
What was happening here 6 months ago? Ships, probably, but anything in particular?
I can tell you what wasn't happening 6 months ago. The Iconian War. Yeah. That was 4 years ago. Yeah. Why would a herald be here? They took them all with them when they left.
I need to look at that body. I might be able to figure out what is going on here, whether it was here the whole time or elsewhere. It should be in the med bay. That's the only place equipped to do an autopsy.
That's exactly where it is.
Are there any other bodies, or was that the only body?
That's the only one I'm seeing in this report.
Okay.
How many more do you need?
It's the only thing I'm good at. Alive people, not bodies. Maybe both.
I'm going to
entendre.
Medbay. If you would like to join me, please spare me.
Veevee is coming down. The hallucinogens are wearing off, so now Veevee's just like work, and like fully in like work mode. Wants to go into med bay, and mostly the reason that Veevee wanted to go to see where the crash site was, because with her empathy, Veevee can like wake people up and see if they're okay, kind of do some EMT stuff. And so Veevee was like, "Yeah, let's go into med bay and see how I can help."
Ty will stop in the doorway, not turn around. Naturally, you were invited as well, of course, if you're curious. And walk.
I am curious. Still a little high. And then walks behind.
Okay.
Kaz is gonna finish her sandwich.
Okay. So we leave Kaz. I think I will leave Qila with Kaz as well. Cool. And so we have 2 more party members now departing to find out things, heading to Med Bay. Ty and Veevee, you head to Med Bay. You arrive at Med Bay. Doors open, and you see the second shift kind of coming in and setting up, while the first shift, a couple of people have already signed out for the day. You pass them on your way in. Some of the nurses are checking in on patients. One last check before they get off shift. And you see at the back of the room, as always, the desk belonging to the station chief medical officer, Dr. Urza Nur, Saurian woman, half Saurian, half human woman. And she is sitting at her desk, and she appears to be doing some work.
Insight check. The people in the med bay, how many of them are how many of them are in the med bay, and how many of them are kind of looking awake, kind of not looking awake?
Yeah, you don't need to roll for that. I would say, you mean like the patients? Just the
Yes.
patients? Okay. There's 30 beds in this med bay, and I would say it's about a third full, so there's about 10 patients. Well, you just gave a big lore dump, Qila. I'll drop it in, or if any, it's okay. Yeah, we're glad to have you back.
It's all right. You dumped lore everywhere, but we can clean it up.
My computer broke.
I'm so sorry.
I'm back now.
Here, I'm dumping the lore dump into
Okay.
Discord so you can catch up.
Yes, obviously I knew all of this and told you all of this in a very intelligent way.
You're very smart.
And then
Yes,
Veevee and Ty went to Medbay, and Kaz and Qila are still in the lounge. So.
Yeah. So Veevee, I guess, goes around and like tries to use her empathy to see like who in the med bay is being actively treated with like all of the science, and see if maybe she can use her empathy without being super intrusive, and discover who in the med bay would prefer Veevee's holistic healing.
Oh, okay.
I'm a healer. I told y'all.
Yeah, go ahead and let's make this an insight medicine check. And I'm also going to roll on my end to see which of these patients.
See, that's why I was like, I gotta ask. All right, first one, 2, baby.
All right.
Second,
That's a crit.
an 18, but the two.
The 2. So that was 2. Difficulty was going to be 2. So there you go. And let me just roll. Okay. So let me just pull up some names here from my trusty name generator, stoacademy.com. Thank you for making a name generator for Star Trek characters. And also
Make a name for yourself with name generators.
I'm gonna say I love one of my favorite races. I'm just gonna pick a name randomly. Oh, that's a nice name. Okay. Yeah, you walk over to a Gem Hadar. Now, did we lose
I think
Veevee?
just camera off for a sec. You can only
Okay.
No,
got
I'm
it.
here. Sorry. Again, the thing that I'm dealing with, it's fine.
It's okay. It's totally
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
So you all see Veevee, and jump in when you can, but I'll just describe until you can join us. You all see Veevee head over to one of the med bay beds, and there is a gem hadar. So, and more lore dumping. Now, the Jem'Hadar, for those who may not know or need reminding, the Jem'Hadar are a race of very like strong aliens from the Delta Quadrant who were taken over by the Changelings and the Dominion, and they became their foot soldiers. They were their army, and unfortunately, they had like addiction to this substance that kept them in subjugation. Long story short, watch DS9. But
That's just a regular thing for everyone. You should just watch DS9.
you should
It's
watch
amazing.
DS9. Oh my god! But post all of that, post the Dominion Wars, there are lots of Jem'Hadar out in the world who are living their own lives now. They have been liberated. They are just doing their thing. So this Jem'Hadar in a Starfleet uniform is on one of the med bays and seems to have some type of injury that's being healed on their lower extremities. And so he is awake. And yeah, you have a feeling that maybe this person would be receptive to and maybe wanting some type of alternative healing as well.
So I walk over. I kind of like do the youth pastor stance right next to him. Hi, my name is Veevee. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Taurus Akiza.
Hello, Taurus Akiza. So I wanted to ask permission. I think that I could help you with my healing abilities, but I wanted to ask because some people prefer like science, and my healing abilities definitely come from holisticness. But not in the way that I'm going to ask you to eat weird oil.
Oh, what did you have in mind?
Well, my holistic healing comes from my empathy. So you would have to open your mind to me, and I will be as in your mind or as out of your mind as you feel comfortable with. But you just have to at least open it up enough for me to travel into your synaptic nerves and see what I can do throughout the rest of your body. And then also I'm totally gonna like light some stuff and like maybe hit you with some lavender.
You see Taurus Akiza's eyes just kind of widen as you continue to explain this, and a small smile takes over his face, and he says, well, that sounds more interesting than just whatever they've been doing here.
Hi, I know you from somewhere, right?
I'm not sure.
Let me sit down. And then Vivi sits, and then may I grab your hand?
And he offers his hand.
And Vivi grabs the hand and like the double clasp, and then raises his hand from like her head, her nose, her mouth, just kind of like, and then breathes in, and then when she breathes out, this is divergent, but eyes go wide, big face. Big face of just like, I'm using my powers. Y'all should look up what we look like when we have a big face.
Denobulan big face.
Denobulan big face. It's real big. And just like holding on, and then it drains. And suddenly Veevee starts using her empathy to get into the body. Veevee starts connecting with his emotions and with his brain. And she starts to feel some stuff, but she doesn't want to be too, especially after what happened with Veluth, she doesn't want to like feel like she's being very intrusive. Is this okay? Can you feel this? Is this okay?
Closes his eyes and he responds to you. Yes.
And so then Vivi sends a wave of, I'm going to send a wave of just a little, I'm going to use my empathy and my holistic healing to make it so that your pain is less. Is that okay?
Yes.
And so then she sends that wave of it, and it feels like if you are someone who has never had a reason to do Vicodin, don't do Vicodin. Vicodin sucks. Or Vicoprofen. And it's the first time you've ever had like a little painkiller, but not like dangerous, not like fentanyl, but just that wave. It's like not only does it calm your nerves, relax your nerves, but it also has a dual thing of relaxing the brain. Is this okay?
Yeah, you sense just this peace and comfort coming from him.
But also, yeah, I want verbal consent. And so then I start asking as I'm like, okay, so what's gonna happen is now I'm gonna find and search for the injury. And Vivi starts finding and searching around. And I'm sorry, the injury was in the gut area,
It was actually the lower extremities. So,
the lower extremities.
yeah, it was like bad, really bad bruising, on and among the legs, on his legs.
Perfect. Not perfect, but Vivi looks and says, I'm going to talk you through this because this is the way that my holistic healing works. I want you to feel the feeling I am sending through your toes. Do you feel that?
I feel it.
And then I'm going to move that feeling up through your calves and through your extremities. And what I need you to do is in your brain, I'm going to send you a signal that relaxes your toes. It's going to feel as though your toes are melting off of your body and your bones and joints are expanding, inflating, and letting go. And Vivi does that until it goes all the way through the extremities that are a problem. And that is, that's not Vivi, that's a cat. Those are my cats getting their feet. But so, Vivi keeps saying, going through every joint individually, imagine your pinky toe, imagine the flesh melting off and the bones and the joints expanding and deflating until it deflates and it relaxes. And she goes through all of that until it goes up through where the injury is. And then now you let it go. And then that is her up. Yeah, you're gonna make
Yeah.
me roll.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
I mean, you have a holistic healing focus.
I
So
know.
don't you want to roll?
I do want to roll.
Okay, so this is going to be presence medicine.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Difficulty 2. You have your holistic.
Two. You can't see it. It's 2. I will literally screenshot it right now. 2. Okay.
Amazing.
And then I've got another roll. 10. I'll take it.
Amazing.
I'll
Wait,
take
oh,
it.
you rolled a 2 and a 10.
I'll take it.
That's 3 successes. Bank 1 momentum, everyone.
That is what I am saying, babies.
All right. And yeah, your holistic healing made that 2 a crit. So, yeah, again, with your just tapping into your empathy and tapping into this talent you have for holistic healing, not talent, mechanically focus, you guide him through this process of kind of like flooding each part of his legs and feet and every joint with this like healing energy. And after a few moments of doing this, he opens his eyes and he says, that was incredible.
How are
And-
you feeling?
He says, I feel almost good as new. And a nurse comes over who's starting their shift, checks the the medical scanners curiously, well, that's strange. Takes out a medical tricorder, scans Taurus's legs, and says, wow, well, you've really moved up in your healing. We were going to have to do another pass at the healing for you, but it seems like you're healing much quicker than we thought. You might not need it after all.
Well done, everyone. And Veevee kind of is like, thank you so much for letting me help. It actually makes me feel really good to help people. So
The nurse looks at you and says, what? And Taurus says, you all should have her work in the med bay because whatever she just did, I feel great. I feel like I can be discharged, actually. And he starts to get up from the med bay. The nurse is like, no. And he just stands up, stretches out his legs, does some like kicks. Says, yeah, I feel like I can get back out there.
yeah, no, I do this when necessary, but mostly I like help make sure that the ships that we design don't murder people.
Oh, well, I'm actually a shuttle pilot.
Oh,
So thank you for your work.
thank you. I'm the reason you don't get sucked out all of your windows.
That's great. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And then she turns back to him. Hey, but you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be more than okay. And seriously, if you ever want to like do that again, I'd be willing to do that. Maybe, yeah. I mean, I just
Like-
think it would be good for just general healing and
Well, I mean,
wellness.
I think that like if maybe like you need that as like a general PT and you don't really like trust doctors and you wanted to just like have someone help you with your physical therapy, I would like help you with that.
I would love that. Yeah. No offense, doc. And the nurse says, no, none taken.
But so yeah, and then Veevee shakes the hand and then is like kind of shy, and looks around the rest of the med bay and tries to feel if anyone in there, but to see if anyone in there wants some kind of holistic healing that isn't super science based.
So Veevee turns and looks for the next patient while Ty, what are you doing during this?
I can't bluff my way around it. I am going to have to talk to the chief medical officer for this.
Okay.
Unfortunate, but here we are. Doctor.
All right. So, actually, I'm so sorry. Hold that thought because when we return from our break, we will pick right back up here with Ty approaching the CMO of the station. So, everybody, come back to us in 10 minutes and we will return with the last half of episode 10 of Clear Skies Perseverance.
As you enter the cave, the darkness envelops you.
I have dark vision.
They say at level 20 you become a god, but I'm gonna do it by 17.
Teach me.
Oh, sad little DM can't remember her stupid NPC names.
No more inter-party romance.
I don't know what that means. Can I get a slice of that?
I can't hear you.
Just one slice.
Yeah, I'm actually done.
I see a whole pizza right there.
Viola, what do you do?
I don't even complain when you leave your Legos everywhere for me to step on.
Avatar: The Last Airbender isn't an anime.
So you're a sex worker?
I'm an actor.
Why didn't you say you were low on HP? I hope you freeze to death waiting in line for Hall H.
What can I say? It's got drama. It's got intrigue.
Go!
It's got pathos. How could I refuse?
That's what you take from this? I'm sorry.
What the fuck is an owlbear?
My son, the Terran Emperor, has merged with an entity of great power. As a Terran, conquest is a way of life, but he has gone too far. Now, We must join forces with enemies, or face obliteration. I want to bring him back from this, but I'll do what I must to stop him. No matter the cost.
Menzo Baranzan is a prison. I am fortunate to have escaped. It is my hope that someday this place can be cast open, its citizens freed from their captor.
Lorth is a demoness, a destroyer, a plague upon the world, with her loyalist scum following her ways of chaos and ruin into the depths of the abyss itself.
I think the blaspheme are righteous in their cause, and the loyalists are not. If war comes, I will be on the right side of it.
Some fear war will soon envelop Menzo Baranzan. For me, the war has already begun. Welcome, soldier, to the cause of the blaspheme.
This is Defender. We could use more armored units at City Hall, and we have wounded here.
Red Snake, you have incoming contact. Witchcraft, Ironclad, Black Mask. What's your situation?
The undead are numerous and running amok. We're falling back to 4th Station Steelhead.
Go forth, my children, and feed upon the living.
I'm just finishing up my patrol now.
What the? I was wrong. Things are starting to heat up.
The battle rages onward. Victory will be ours.
Calling all champions. This is a global distress call. Report to the nearest crisis zone and engage the enemy.
Metahumans ejected. Changing targeting lock.
Welcome back, Utopia Polynesia workers. This is mid-episode 10, and I have a couple things I want to say. First of all, poor Bonnie. She's having internet and computer problems, so she will be in and out, hopefully. But just know that. It's all good. That's what's going on. Also, though, about that lore dump. I wanted to give shout-outs because, number one, shout out to Mike, aka Ambassador Kael, one of the awesome STO writers of the lore blogs. That's where the characters Wetu and Elios came from. Those characters were created by Jesse Heinig. So, hi, thank you for creating those characters, and they are officially now canon in our CSP campaign. Also, shout out to STO, Star Trek Online writers and developers, because Qila's lore dump was brought to you by STO. All of that stuff about the Iconian Wars and the Heralds and all of that comes directly from Star Trek Online. I tried not to spoil too much stuff. I think there's so much more to discover. So if you haven't played through those games, definitely play through those missions and you will find out more about those lore things. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I think we are ready to dive back in right where we left off. Ty, you were about to say something to the doctor, Dr. Ursanur, and she is looking down at her console and doing some work and looking at things. What were you about to say to her?
If I recall correctly, I believe it was Doctor.
Oh, hello. How can I help you?
I was hoping to look over some of the genetic engineering data from what you found earlier. It seemed relevant.
Ah, yes, you heard about that. Body in the desert. Intriguing. I mean, if you ask me.
And I do.
Sometimes Utopia Polynesia can be a little boring, but this is not boring. Here, actually, come around. I was just looking at that report and doing some digging myself. So she waves you
not on
to
the
come.
surface, I hope.
Oh no! You are good at puns. Okay.
Thank you.
So.
Didn't realize that.
You didn't realize that? That you're good at puns?
Surely the findings.
Oh, yes, of course, of course. I'm just going to be thinking about that digging. That's very good. All right. So, yes, apparently this was a genetically modified, genetically engineered race by the Iconians. I'm relatively new here. As you know, I started here 2 years ago, so I wasn't around for all this. And I mean, as a person living in the Alpha Quadrant, knew about that, but I didn't know about their presence here on the shipyard. And also, I cannot fathom why one would just appear out of nowhere in the desert.
It does seem like an extraordinary claim requiring extraordinary evidence.
Yes. But here we have the evidence. So we did an autopsy, and genetically, that is what this is. It is absolutely one of these heralds. What more did you want to know about these genetic engineering in particular? How they did it or what they did?
I wouldn't mind a sense of the techniques or outcomes. Were they working off of a base organism with revisions? What templating did they use? And yes, the techniques would be lovely, but also it seems like I might need a baseline context in your autopsy technique itself. It's hardly fair to make determinations about the editing unless I know that which has been edited.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, here. And she pulls up a holographic model of the Herald's DNA, or a section of it at least. Actually, she pulls up the whole strand, the long strands, and then kind of cuts into certain sections. And she says, well, what I've found from looking at the DNA in particular is that a couple of things. Yes, they were not created in a test tube. They were not lab grown. There was a baseline species that they evolved using genetic engineering. And it looks like a couple of different times, because if you look at this strand here, she zooms in on that strand. She says you can see where the genetic splicing ends are. It's quite elegant, but you can still tell that they're there. And what we're seeing is that there were at least 2, maybe 3 different revisions. And as you know, this particular herald seemed to be genetically engineered to be more robust and tall and strong, with quick reflexes, things like that. There were also some previous generations that we see passed down through this DNA from mother, grandmother, grandfather. Those edits were more in terms of like placation and friendliness, likability, things like that. So calmness, being self-serving, people-pleasing, those types of traits.
Docility, one could
Yes, exactly.
say. Yikes.
Yikes, indeed.
And the body itself, were you able to observe any phenotypic consequence of these edits? Change to musculature? I'm sorry, where did you keep the body?
Come on. She closes the holographic model and walks over to a corner of the back corner of the med bay, which you know to be basically the morgue. I don't know if we've probably seen a morgue in Star Trek, right? I'm not sure.
I'm sure, though there are airlocks that make more space-efficient ones on many ships.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that a bunch. People being
vexatious and then gone. Oh, sorry. Yes, you were saying.
That makes me think of The Expanse. God. A lot of people got spaced on The Expanse.
A lot of people were bastards. Yes.
It's true. Okay, so she walks you back to the morgue section of the med bay, and you go through a door, and now we are in this morgue. Pretty just like modern morgues, but of course the UI is more modern and Star Trek enlaced. But there are these drawers containing space for corpses. She goes to one of the drawers, types in a few buttons on the digital display, and it opens up, and you see tall, lanky, elongated, almost triangular face, light purple skin with some type of reddish striation, which doesn't look like scratches. It looks like that's part of the skin coloring and texture.
Okay.
You see 3 sets of eyes, all stacked and slanted inwards, and the eyes are closed.
Do I see on visual cause of death?
Go ahead and make a roll. Insight medicine. Difficulty. Do you have anything that like...
Humanoid biology.
Okay, yeah, this is a humanoid.
Yeah.
I would say difficulty 1 to just glance and take a good glance. Yeah, a good glance. See if you can see anything.
Thank you. All right, well, that is a natural 1, which is good here, and a 6, so that will get me a couple of momentum.
Yeah, take those momentum. Yeah, so you look over the body from head to toe. You notice that having perhaps seen a herald before, seen them in action, living, it's been a while though, it's been at least a few years or more since you saw one. You notice that the musculature is thin. Looks not quite emaciated, but damn near close. So this person seemed to be lacking in perhaps calories, nutrition, before they died. Otherwise, you do not see any wounds. You don't see any type of bruising or markings of that type.
Would you mind as a professional courtesy with my medical tricorder?
Oh, please.
You are too kind. Bzz, 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 bzz.
Go ahead and I won't have you roll. No, yeah, let's make this a roll because then you can.
Yeah, then my science officer trait pops. Yep.
Yeah, and so, brain fart. I believe the difficulty is reduced by 1 because of your tricorder. So now you're doing more in-depth scan. Difficulty 1.
All right, fantastic. I think it will probably, let's see. So this sounds eligible. No, this is a medicine check, not a science one. That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
All right.
Reason, medicine.
Going to pop myself a little bit of momentum, just, well, for fun.
Yeah.
And
might as well use it.
Well, it's 3 successes as is, so we're doing all right. And I'll get the momentum. What difficulty did you say? I'm sorry.
It was difficulty 1.
It was difficulty 1, so we get the 2 momentum plus the 1 that I use to ask science-y questions, technical term.
All right.
All right.
So, go ahead. Ask your...
No. I should properly be waiting for free information before I bargain.
Darn it. Okay, so what your tricorder tells you, it confirms your visual check. There's a lack of... I'm partially bullshitting this, so please feel free to add actual medical things to back this up.
I know nothing. I'm like Socrates.
Right. There's... I will say this. Okay. There is... Yeah, I'm going to get this wrong if I try to bullshit too much. The muscle fibers are definitely shrunken. You see atrophy. That's what it is. There's some atrophying of musculature. You actually also scan the stomach contents. There's very little in there. You also see... the nails have grown long.
Okay, interesting.
And you check its teeth. It has lost several teeth.
All right.
No hair on its head, but that's not unusual for this species.
Okay. So a couple things come to mind. On a longer on different time scales, one starts wanting for different nutrients. That one has, a human has years of B12, as I recall. So if you develop a B12 deficiency due to, I don't know, celiac murdering your cilia and your small bowel, it will take a long time before symptoms from those manifest because you got a whole stock. Whereas I think it's something like 3 weeks to scurvy. I know it's very possible in this species, for instance, and I can kind of take a peek at the back of the book from this lovely genetic code. It might take a hot moment to, say, leach calcium from bones or the chemical equivalent thereof. What do I see in is this consistent with acute starvation or long-term nutritional deficiency? And if so, can I estimate roughly when the nutritional deficiency would have begun?
You absolutely see very clear signs that this was long-term.
Okay.
And as for when it would have started, this roughly the age of this herald seems to be adult, perhaps like young adult for their species, whatever age they mature at. It had matured. It seems like I'm trying to think of how specific you could find this information, even with a tricorder.
Well, I could tell you, for instance, given that there's caloric restriction, that might slow the rate of senescence of the cells. It's a weird thing that we find. So apparent biological age as compared to senescence could tell me. duration of caloric restriction, just as
Okay.
a very broad heuristic. It's probably not the most ideal method, but an example of the sort of thing I could look at. And
Cell
correlate
death.
that, phenotypic, gene expression, all those kinds of things to get at least a picture.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the picture you get is a couple things. Number one, having looked at the DNA recently and seeing how it was genetically engineered to be stronger and longer enduring, things like that. Normally, for any humanoid to last a handful of years or a few years in the desert with low calories, it would not be possible. This, if a human or even a Vulcan, many other humanoids, if they had been in the situation and had this level of cellular death that you're seeing and mineral loss, nutrient loss, not nutrient, yeah, you know what I mean.
No, yeah.
They would not be alive. They would have been dead longer than 6 months ago. I recently heard, who was I talking to? Oh, I can't reveal who that was. It was a personal story. But I know of a situation where someone got labs back about, I think it was maybe anemia in this case, and something with some type of blood cell. They got labs back and they just were at like a physical. When they got the labs back, the doctor was like, you need to go to the emergency right now. You should not be operating right now because your levels are so low. That's what we're talking about. Someone who survived when their levels say they shouldn't have for other humanoids. So we're talking long term, we're talking possibly years, but probably years.
And working on, and I think this cost me just one of my, I think it's my first momentum because I got a science question.
Okay.
So I'll spend, and then we're at either 5 or some spillover. There are phenotypic markers that reflect DNA damage, which can be from sources like aging. It can be from sources like cosmic radiation. I'm very familiar with sort of the baseline of semi-terraformed Mars. And it is going to be wildly imprecise, but again, in concert with multiple other markers, I could estimate whether that this timeline is consistent with the kind of DNA damage one would accumulate if one were wandering out here on this planet versus whether they were somewhere else.
Yeah. You see a couple things. I will say this. Yes, the levels seem to correlate with Mars's levels in particular, but you have reason to believe that this person was not, if they, okay, so what you're seeing from the other levels is that they've been in this type of like low calorie starvation mode for a few years and still survived, right? If that is true, which it is because the science shows it is, what you're seeing from the DNA levels is that someone exposed to even low-level radiation on Mars, a terraformed Mars, without going into shelter for that long, literally would not, again, they would not exist. And even this species, that's not something that they genetically engineered for, like withstanding radiation. So you have reason to believe that they had some type of shelter for a time during those few years.
Okay. So one can't definitively confirm whether all of this time was spent on Mars due to potentially confounding factors, but they were definitely just running and hiding out somewhere for a very, very, very extended period of time.
It appears so.
Dr. Noor, what was your diagnosis as to cause of death?
Aliza searches medical terms for starvation. Starvation. Is that
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starvation, severe dehydration as well.
life, it appears, does need things to live. If you would be willing to share some of that genetics data and the physiological to correlate against, I would be eternally grateful.
Absolutely. If you could, please let me know if you do any further testing in bioengineering on this, because, yeah, we should compare notes, see if maybe we can give the investigators more information.
Do you have the name of the investigator so that I can share my findings with them?
Yes. Absolutely. Let me pull that up for you. And she starts to send you the reports that she has done. And then she's going to send you the Andorian investigator, whose name is Eve. Eve. It's like Jamie on Ted Lasso saying the name Eve. Evie. Eve.
That will land very well with me, a person who has certainly witnessed a lasso.
Eve. It's all poopy. It's all poopy.
Eve.
What is the doctor's vibe when rendering this name to me? Does this seem like, ugh, Eve, or Eve?
Eve. It's pretty neutral.
All right.
You don't read anything into that in particular.
Like my vibe, like my gender. All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
And I'm putting that name in the chat for you, Eve.
And I will get right onto that analysis and send you findings accordingly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm glad you stopped by.
Yes. Thank you.
We should do more of this cross-departmental thing.
Assuredly. I am sure it would be data. I'll get right on it. I'm going to turn around and bounce.
All right. Okay. All right. So, just dipping in. Oh, right. Oh, yes, she's here. She's back. Veevee. Just dipping in. I think actually, Ty, when you exit that conversation in the back of and the morgue at the back of the med bay, you walk back over to where Veevee is now consulting with another patient. And this, Veevee, once again, you have another patient's hands in your hands and you're helping them through some healing.
Do you feel okay with this? Is it okay if I get in there?
It's all right.
Okay.
This is an older Tellarite. Seems like a retired engineer Tellarite. I don't know. I'm not really good with this mushy stuff, you know?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm all mushy.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It will. I if you are receptive to it, I'm kind of good at it. And you know what? We don't have to talk about mushy stuff while we do this. And Veevee is like, can I, I'm grabbing their hand. Is it okay if I start with your toes and work through your body to see what needs to be healed?
You're going to touch my toes? No one ever touches my toes.
I will not touch your toes. I will, with my brain, go through and then up through and then through your head and back down your spine and then figure out what it is that you, that your body is ailing from. And then while I'm doing that, I will not connect with anything more than surface level if you want to, but I might accidentally get some of your hobbies. But at the end of it, you'll be pretty healed.
Yeah, all right, fine.
All right. So Veevee starts, and first starting with the empathy, feeling what's happening and feeling different ways that she can be a calming present. And then Veevee, does not feel anything more than surface level, but Veevee does feel a couple of surface level, things.
Is that AoE?
I'm sorry?
now that Ty is nearby, is that whole empathy thing AoE?
Oh, yes. How far does this range when you have it
Do
activated?
you want it to be? Is the question for Veevee?
Well, I mean, I think we should roll
Do you
for it,
want to
maybe.
learn some drama?
I love this. If y'all are both
Do
open
you
to
want
this,
to help some ma'ams?
go ahead. Yeah, let's make that same roll.
Because
as
there
before.
are a couple trill who want to kill each other, but they can't. All right. Let us roll.
Just because I like her.
So
And she's really sweet. There's something about her spots.
And they want to play, but illegally, they're not allowed.
Deploying Disney in 5, 4, 3,
2,
Disney
It's
legal
just-
box.
Yep. Oh, they're inventing them. You know they've got those.
Oh, I'm sure they already have.
Oh, they got them. All right, I rolled a 7.
Oh.
And a 6. Okay.
Oh, Mike,
Yep.
I love you.
Yep.
Mike in our chat says, threat for you, Aliza. Might be related to the singing. Might not.
Ouch.
That's some shade. I love it. Thank you for the threat. All right. Sorry, what did you get on your roll?
I got a 7 and a 6.
Okay. That's 2 successes. You needed 2, same as last time. And yeah, it seems to be working because this gruff engineer kind of mellows out. Also, you pick up something else nearby. Feelings of might I say, regret, sadness, guilt,
Shame, apprehension, like forward-looking apprehension, and just I don't know how I got the sense that this was a little spatial for Veevee. So also just like that thread, the thread just like feels Casward.
Yeah.
Oh my! Whoa!
Are you all right?
How I haven't. Okay. So Veevee does the healing, goes through, relax your toes, relax your joints, relax your all that stuff, while Veevee is being pushed and her brain can't stop going to her friend, who was clearly going through it and doesn't want to talk about it, but her friend is clearly, everything inside is crying out for them to connect with someone without having to say what's wrong with them. At least in my brain, I can roll for that.
No. Oh, you get I love for that to have been what you take. Like, you might be right, you might be not. That is certainly the interpretation, and I love that.
No, it's like, oh, my friend, they're like having like a moment, and so like Veevee's trying to heal this, and then Veevee's also like, I can very much feel that my book club buddy, my friend, they are going through some stuff. And so Veevee is like kind of feeling it and wraps up with the healing. Hey, how are you feeling?
I learned a lot from the autopsy and genetic engineering results. It was productive.
Would you like some tea?
We did just have some. Are you?
We did.
You
We
right?
just. I very much enjoy tea of any kind. Green tea, other tea, just kind of relaxing tea. If you wanna go have some tea.
Oh, all right. Yes, certainly.
And so Veevee, kind of starts walking and leading, Cass towards like, Veevee's quarters, to get them some Earl Grey hot. And so they get in there and Veevee sits down. I was just having a feeling when I've been working on healing some people in the med bay that maybe you like tea and maybe you don't want to talk about how much you like tea. but maybe tea is very significant to you and you really enjoy tea and you like being around tea and you like the way that tea makes you feel.
I have casually 3 success insight commands to pick up what you're putting down. So I will drink deeply of the tea of a, when it burns your tongue so that like you feel it the next day, and Ty just drinks it anyway. I
go to the replicator. Earl Grey tea hot with 1 ice cube in it.
I never thought of that. Sometimes tea isn't what one is supposed to have.
Right.
And maybe some people might take the tea away because it is too hot and will burn your tongue. And you know that if you bring up how hot the tea is, they will take the tea away. And maybe you haven't seen the tea for a while. And you missed tea.
I have been in the position where I love tea. I love many kinds of tea. And I have been where I have missed a kind of tea. And have you talked to the
tea didn't talk to me for over 100 years, and then when the tea found out that I am a tea drinker, the tea might have run away and then wouldn't talk to me again, and I might have spilled all of it. But that doesn't mean he could just put the tea on some other station. That isn't fair.
Okay. So there are multiple tea stations in this, and like that's okay. Look, we're all. What other kinds of tea situations are you dealing with?
Just because he's in charge of tea distribution doesn't mean that he can make orders based on culturally specific blends.
Yes, I agree. Veevee kind of sends a wave of like, I understand. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like, I get what you're saying. I will not offer you any advice because I don't have any to give and you didn't ask for any. But what I would like you to know more than anything is that anytime you would like to come here and talk about tea, you can talk about tea with me.
And they just fall onto Veevee and hug her and sob. Like little kids sob. They needed someone to say, I got you. And they
Oh, Veevee is now totally descending fully like empathy. I got you, boo. Like we are friends. Like they and Veevee are like right here. And Veevee is not like trying to find out things that Veevee doesn't need to know. Veevee is just here.
Good, because they're
like,
blubbering
cuddle.
incomprehensibly. If you could speak sob, it might be.
Well, Veevee has empathy, so Veevee knows exactly what's happening right now. Yeah. And so Veevee's just like hugging, and as their boogers are just going down Veevee's off-white dress, Veevee is just holding them and sending all of the good vibes that Veevee can. I'm so sorry you're going through this right now.
Thank you for letting me be on design team with you. I know I'm a science, but you're really cool.
Well, anytime you want to be on design team and talk about tea and design stuff, you can come talk to me.
I'll learn about white. And off.
Well, it's off white, but yes, we'll talk about it.
Those don't seem taxonomically distinct.
Look, nothing is wrong and nothing is bad, and Veevee's just watching the snot like go down. Nothing is wrong and nothing is bad. Everything is good. And in this moment, Veevee just tries to send, because Veevee doesn't want to like be that person that's like, hey, take away the pain, but at least be like, you know that your friends have you in this moment that you have. So Veevee's just sending that wave of like, we all super love you and we all super have you.
Soselle Tairo will feel love as a standard action.
Yes, love is the action.
Yes. Yeah.
Would you like me to roll for that?
That was natural ones, my friend. I think we got those. Yeah.
All right, so while this all has been happening, we cut back over to Veluth. Where are you, Veluth?
I am back in the cabin. I'm checking
By
in.
cabin, you mean your quarters, right?
Yeah, quarters. Sorry.
Because I just, the cabins on, Southern Winter Games, I was like, wait.
Yeah. That's how I was trying. When I say I was trying to escape, I mean it. No, I'm back in the office. I'm catching up on all of my reading.
Is this professional reading or personal?
This is professional reading. All the messages that I missed, especially about the discovered body.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, so you I'll just give you a quick update on those. You see the report that the engineer said that you probably had. You have it. It was not quite the tippy top of confidentiality. It was more like mid-level and up who got this. So you and Qila, being in Starfleet Intelligence, would have gotten this memo. It was everything that we've basically discovered so far in other ways. So there was a herald found in the desert. And there's nothing new so far in this particular report.
Okay. I think there's just gonna be a moment where he leans back against his chair and tosses the pad. And very reluctantly, it's gonna chirp Tovaa. I think you might be muted. I don't think they can hear you.
I can hear Kaitlin, but Noir cannot. So.
Oh no, I can hear the chat saying everything's muted.
Oh my bad. Everything, everyone.
Chat, can you hear me?
Oh, it seems like everyone. Oh, okay.
All right, can you hear me now, chat?
How are we doing? Cannot hear when Zoom.
One of the scenes is muted.
Okay, that's what it was. All right, but just to reiterate for everybody, in case you missed it, Veluth is just at their desk reading up on the body after realizing there's not much that he can do. There's not much in the way of his expertise. He chirped Tovaa.
Yeah, and then Tovaa had been still sitting in the lounge, trying to just do something to occupy her time while she is not actively on shift, and so was spending time in the memories of Benway Kaz, who was the host prior to her, who was a leading expert in hypothetical warp field mechanics, and so just like trying to like put a little bit of her symbiont's desire for like getting involved and like greatness and like getting to like the heart of a certain topic and stuff. And so I think she was just kind of like pulling up maybe articles about Benway, or like she has the memories, but I think she's trying to like figure out how to like reconcile these as being her while she can still read about them even though she didn't do them but she did, kind of a thing. So that's what, just for that, she's still in the lounge like working on it but like looking kind of confused, and she gets the chirp. Do you say, what do you say?
Tovaa, I would have you report to my office at your earliest convenience.
She kind of like puts the pad down.
Lieutenant Tovaa Cass, I would have you come to my office at your earliest convenience.
She taps the badge and says, "On it, Commander." Which is, I would say, the first time she has called you Commander since since being on the station. And she will pack up and head towards Veluth's office.
Okay, you arrive. Door opens. Kamenuk is not here. Kamenuk has left for the day, so it's just Veluth.
Commander? What can I do for you?
Lieutenant? May I speak to you in a capacity that is not Protocol or Starfleet?
I would have loved that over the past couple of months, but sure, let's start now.
Takes the badge off. I feel as though I may have caused more trouble than originally intended.
Okay. Which part? The part where you told me to get over the memories that I have as that are a part of me now, or the part where you told me that you've been actively avoiding me for the past couple of months and that you think I'm dead? Or another, or a secret third option?
It was the second option.
Did you pinpoint the place in which that might have been alarming or upsetting?
It was no one point, just a general observation of the demeanor which you've taken ever since our conversation ended.
Once again, like you would know. What time have we spent together in which you could gauge what my neutral is?
I believe that this supports my theory that I would not know, as you are. To be transparent with you, Tovaa Cass, my views have not changed. I regret how my perception has caused you to feel. I wanted to reiterate that I wish it were not the case. That my friend is no longer with us.
And how'd you get to that conclusion? You want to walk me through that one more time?
I had a rather interesting revelation today in a conversation with V. I have done an extensive amount of work to forget Tovaa.
Good to know.
Through interference, I find our previous encounters have returned to the surface of my thoughts.
You mean before you started icing me out, or since we've been sort of working together?
Icing you out. Oh, I understand. He stands up.
She hasn't sat down, by the way. She's just kind of like in front of the doors.
I would like to show you something if you would take the time to join me.
Fine.
To the Holosuite. He's gonna walk you to the Holosuite, and when he walks in, Veluth Protocol, passcode 324 Delta Tovaa. And
Activating program.
And the Holosuite takes the form of a gallery, and there's artwork about at an easel, with a new painting of a ship.
You're still working on stuff?
I find it a relaxing activity, and this is a rather efficient place to hide when book club is unbearable.
Why are you showing me this?
I am unaware, but I felt the need to. I've been in deep contemplation about the situation that we find ourselves in here at Utopia Planitia. To be completely clear with you, I find your presence here to be taxing. I wish that you were the friend that I met. I do. Fundamentally, biologically, and logically, I do not see how how the desire versus the reality can reconcile.
Art is a culmination of your emotions and your experiences. It's subjective. There's no one way to do it right or wrong. Living, being a person, it's the same thing. You're a culmination of your experiences, and the people you've met, and the people that you will meet, the person you were and the person you'll become, because every day that changes. And you get to sit here and make art that I thought you stopped a long time ago, and tell me that you logicked your way to my death, when you and I both know that that shield is so flimsy. You don't get to pretend with me, because I'm still her. No matter how much you think I'm not, I'm still Tovaa. I still know and remember everything, all of the time we spent together, all of the letters we sent back and forth, all of the times you comforted me when I was stressed about being at home, the times that you confided in me about how much you would feel and how much you wish you didn't. But you do, Veluth. You and I and all of us are a culmination of our experiences and our emotions, and you, in particular, are not exempt from that. And I think she kind of like raises one hand to the artwork surrounding them, I think sort of mirrored in a vastly different emotional standpoint, but mirroring 10 years ago in the gallery in Chicago on that rainy night. She raises her arm to all of it and says, and I think this just proves that. You don't get to pretend. You don't get to pretend that with me.
I agree, Tovaa, that art is in fact subjective. I believe that there are things that cannot quite be quantified or understood, only perceived and experienced. The man I was when I drew many of these early pieces, I am no longer. Due to the experience that I have lived through. When you looked at many of these pieces, you looked at the eyes of Tovaa, unfiltered, unbiased by any experience other than that of which you have lived. You see these pieces now through the eyes of Tovaa, but through the experience of Cass. Experiences that are not your own.
How's this for experience? Tovaa was so excited after she joined. For the first time, through the entire procedure, she was excited for one moment because of one individual that she was now part of, named Metzi Kaz, who was an artist, lifetime. And she wanted to look at your work through his eyes. And I don't know, now I don't even know if I want to be looking at you, Veluth. I think you need to sort yourself out a little bit, actually. I think you need to figure out where your logic and your emotion sit with each other, because whatever you think you're doing right now, whatever peace offering this was supposed to be, I almost believed you for a second, but I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do with these feelings that you won't admit to having. If you want me to file for transfer,
that may not be necessary. The request may be made for you.
you're gonna have to fight me for it. And she takes a step back.
I do not wish to fight you, Tovaa, Cass.
You started it.
It was never my intention.
Of course not.
Having you and Ty both work at the station is in direct conflict with your cultural standards.
That's not even correct.
This is the information that I procured from Ty.
Yeah, we can't resume a romantic relationship. There's nothing in the rules about working together.
It has already begun to cause conflict within the station.
Yeah, on a micro scale, because we haven't had a chance to work our shit out yet. You haven't even talked to them yet? You know, I was working my way around to that. And you're trying to find a smooth, easy solution when no conversations have been had yet?
That is my responsibility, Tovaa Cass.
Yeah, on the professional level. We gotta figure out the personal stuff first, and then we will come to you and figure out what that means. But right now, we don't even know what this means, and she just, like, gestures off into, like, a vague direction, meaning Ty. We don't, you know what? Maybe we will say, screw it. Screw the Trill Council, whatever the hell. And, you know, systematically end the lifetimes of 2 Trills. I don't know. I'm not sure. End the symbiont line right here. This is where it ends. Or maybe we'll be friends and we'll work well together. Or maybe we'll find out we hate each other now and I will transfer or something. You know, we haven't gotten to that point yet where administrative assistance is required. So you came to me saying, or you asked me to come to you by saying, can I take the badge off? You showed me this personal thing, and now you're talking about protocol, which is a different conversation. So either put your badge on, Veluth, or keep it off. Pick a lane. I don't want to fight you either. But if this is what's happening, I'll see you in an HR meeting. And she turns around and leaves.
I don't know.
Stop at the door. Back to you.
I am unaware of who you are, and the purpose of bringing you here was an attempt to find clarity so that I might better find a solution.
She spins around. So then ask questions! Ask me something instead of speaking in riddles. You poet at heart, I know this about you. But if you want answers,
did you
ask
want
me
the
a
joining?
question.
Did you want the joining?
You know the answer to that.
I knew Tovaa's answers. I want to know yours.
Joke's on you. I'm Tovaa. That still stands. I
You
did
are
not
Tovaa
want...
Cass!
And you were my best friend.
I was Tovaa's best friend. I am unaware of who you are.
Then ask me questions! Ask me! Ask me who I am. Do you want to learn about me? Do you want to know anything about me? Do you want to continue to know if I'm someone new? You brought me here. You showed me your artwork, a thing that apparently you've never shown anyone before. You have a secret lock on a secret gallery. You will clearly want something from this. Then ask me what you want to know, and I will tell you. Or let me walk out. It's up to you. At this point, it's up to you.
Understood. Puts the badge back on. You are dismissed, Lieutenant.
Commander. And she turns and continues out.
The door opens. You are face to face with Kamenuk, who has this shocked look on his Klingon face. He quickly steps aside and says, apologies. Apologies.
Computer in program.
Tovaa nods at them and beelines out.
Kamenuk steps in tentatively. I apologize, Commander. I was looking for you to discuss the reports from today. I know you just got back into town from vacation, and I thought you would want to be told, updated. There's also a new report that came in. I wanted you to see it immediately. I am so sorry. I did not hear anything on the other side of the door. Nothing at all. That is not true. I'm lying to you. I heard a lot.
I am aware of the deception.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You've been gone for so long, and I now feel very awkward in front of you. Hello, welcome back. I'm sorry.
There is nothing to apologize for, Commander. I've already begun catching up on the events that transpired in my absence.
Of course you have. You are very professional and good at your job. I just wanted to make sure you saw this newest Priority 1 confidential message for you. It is for upper-level commanders like yourself. He hands you a pad. I obviously could not open it, but you can. I'm talking a lot more because I'm nervous. I'm sorry.
You have nothing to be nervous about, Commander. I assure you that I believe that Utopia Planitia was in the best of hands while I was away.
Thank you, Commander. Nothing bad happened except for the corpse found in the desert. But that was not in the shipyard, I will say. So you have the pad in your hands.
Uh-huh.
And you see this alert for a Priority 1 confidential message for upper-level commanders of Utopia Planitia.
I'll open it up.
You open up this message. It's text, and it is from the investigator. It is also addressed to the Utopia Planitia Command Security Board, which, as you know, you are a part of. As an upper-level commander, you are keyed in with all security concerns and threats on the station. So, from Investigator Eve, here's what the message says. Confidential report on further findings from the desert. Medical has confirmed the body is a herald and likely had been subsisting on Mars for years since the Iconian War. Upon examination, the herald's items found on their person were simple clothes, and then a bullet-pointed list. Simple clothing, as if dressed like a civilian. Clothing was mostly torn and worn down with some mismatched Starfleet and civilian clothing items. Some type of messaging device, the battery and power completely drained and dead, being worked on by engineers. Recommendation: Level 3 security lockdown of station. Cite as generic security concern. No station-wide announcements to maintain calm and root out others if they are here. End message.
Very good. I'll brief the team shortly. Kamanuk.
Yes, Commander.
I need you to reach out to Starfleet. I may find myself in need of trill cultural consultation.
Yes, Commander. I will. Commander.
Not at all. I'm actually scared. Okay, all right, I'm back.
We need to meet. Your office is available, isn't it? I need to discuss the possibility of refugees on Mars. We'll need to get out of the station and look for them as soon as possible.
Very good. I'll meet you in my office. Just kids to chirp and heads back.
You head back to the office. Standing outside of your office is Ty, and you both enter the office.
How can I be of assistance, Lieutenant?
I went over Dr. Noor's results from the autopsy and gene editing. It seems clear not only that they were on Mars, but they were in some sort of shelter. It's possible they weren't the only one, and they were in terrible condition. I think we should mount a rescue mission at once if possible.
I agree. Here is additional information that's come down from Starfleet.
This recommends a lockdown.
I do not agree with the lockdown. I believe that if there is a possibility to save a life, that we should expend that effort. But first, I would have you project what resources and that we would need to mount such a rescue. I'll give that report to Starfleet in order to petition and petition for clearance to mount this rescue mission.
Are you all right, Commander? You seem...
Apologies, I'm somewhat distracted.
Well, this is of the utmost importance. Lives are at stake.
Of course. And we will uphold Starfleet protocol and do all that we can to make sure that we help as many people as possible. That is the purpose of the station, and it is one that we will endeavor to pursue.
Commander, you're in charge of the station. There are lives within the scope of your command to look after. You don't have to petition Starfleet for a goddamn thing.
Part of my responsibility is adhering to protocol. That means that if I am to mount a rescue mission, I need to have Starfleet's approval. The best way that we can do that is to provide them an extensive list of everything that we will be using and the measures that we are taking to mitigate risk.
I'll have the report for you within an hour, and I suppose that'll just give you some time to think about the kind of leader you want to be.
I feel as though there is something that you would like to say to me, Lieutenant.
Help me save lives. I think it's what you want to do, too. I think under there could yet be a good commander.
A good commander is one that operates within the spectrum of the rules without breaking them because they exist for a reason, Lieutenant.
Is that consistent with the history of Starfleet, Commander? I'll have to do a review. I'll be on those reports very soon.
Actually, the door's gonna open up right behind you, and you're just going to hear. And what would you do, Lieutenant? Forego the protocols that established this place? Betray your uniform?
I serve Starfleet because Starfleet does the right thing. Doing the right thing never betrays the uniform.
And I am attempting to do the right thing, and I have given you instructions that will achieve just that.
Commander? Do you need some tea?
Apologies for the outburst. It has been a trying day.
Take care. I'll walk out. I have reports to write.
Yeah, Duluth is going to walk back into the office. Make sure nobody's in hearing distance. Go to the replicator. Whiskey.
You immediately know, after you order this whiskey from the replicator, that what you're getting back is synthahol.
Mm-hmm. He just puts it on the table, doesn't drink it, just looks at it.
And we end this episode on the site of Veluth, sitting at their desk, replicated synthahol whiskey in front of them, taking in what was a very, shall we say, eventful evening on Utopia Planitia. And with that, we will end episode 10 of Clear Skies Perseverance. Kaitlin?
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry, I missed that. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Good. The response to O being "oh yeah" is the funniest thing ever. That's exactly how I feel.
Make me feel sad.
I wasn't even thinking there was gonna be a conversation between Tovaa and Believe. You brought that one in. I was like, all right, let's let her rip. Let's go.
Like so many things, Believe did this to himself.
You did, yeah. I love it.
I was 100% expecting battle, and I guess this was the feelings episode. We did it.
I mean, I just want to commend all of my players, not just tonight, but every episode. And tonight and last week in particular, y'all have been juicy. Like, it's been so juicy.
Clear Skies, the soap opera.
I mean, I'm into it.
Clear Skies.
Thank you all in the chat for watching. Thank you, Pillow Fort. Feel better, by the way. And thank you to Mike. Thank you, STO. Thank you, Modifius. Thank you to our Aux crew, as always. We love you. We're going to be back. We have 2 more episodes of this season. Tell your friends. Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Knuck if you buck.
Knuck if you buck. Lay down your edges. Just get ready,
Like
y'all.
Faloof, turn up tonight.
Things are heating up on Clear Skies Perseverance. Don't miss these last 2 episodes because I can already see, holy crap, it's going to be real. It's going to be live and real. Okay. Good night. Thank you so much.
Bye, y'all.
We'll see you.